everyone, my name is Amantlan Sala and I'd like to officially welcome you to the Active and Human podcast. Join me as I take you through a journey of storytelling that recognizes the disruptive impact that the Gen Z have made in the various spaces that they have plunged into. These will be moments where we appreciate impact, influence, and hard work. So sit down and stay tuned.
So you know what, I've been screaming ever since you entered this place because I literally keep thinking that, okay, I'm with Kopano Kgabi, and I'm 100% sure that the audience is feeling the same energy that I'm feeling. Usually I give my guests time to introduce themselves, but guys, I'm with Kopano Kgabi. So yeah, but still, I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna allow you to just introduce yourself to the audience. But otherwise, I'm so happy that you're here. I've been literally planning this episode for the longest. So if people don't like it the most, I'm gonna have a problem with you guys. So yeah, please introduce yourself to the audience.
Hi, I'm Kopano Kgabi. Yeah, I'm a singer, songwriter, musician, and performing artist, and I'm also a content creator. And you know, that's who I am.
There's so many titles. Like, I just introduce myself. I'm like, hi guys, I'm Andrea. Sometimes I even forget my surname. But yeah, you're doing so many great things at such a young age. But we're going to, talk about that in the coming moments. For now, I have a few questions for you. These are icebreaker questions.
Okay.
I'm going to tell the audience that your favorite Kopano Kgabi tried to take a sneak peek at these questions, but because I'm for you guys, I decided not to.
She didn't want to.
I didn't want to. You see, I'm just, this is the thing, this is for my people, so I need to give them relatable content and also authentic content. So the first question, are you ready?
Yeah.
It's nothing hectic, it's really gentle, Yeah, really gentle. So, you're next up for karaoke. What song do you pick?
Next up for karaoke. Whitney Houston, I Will Always Love You.
I love that song.
It's my favorite.
Maybe we could be best friends or something. You guys could comment. If you want to see this iconic duo, become a thing, you could just comment. But that's a really good song. Second question, what's the best movie you got to see in the theaters?
In the theaters?
Yeah.
Yo, it was Endgame for me.
Really?
Yeah.
You know that I actually have never been to cinema. That was such a low reaction. But yeah, like I've never been to a cinema. Like I don't even watch TV like that. For someone who's into literally
oh my
TV,
gosh.
I never go to the cinema. I've never went to the cinema. And I've never watched all these movies like Black Panther.
No way.
And my friends are like,
what are you doing with your life?
My friends are so interested in movies. Like I won't even get shaken. Like if there's one person who doesn't care about peer pressure, it's me. They've told me so many times. They've even threatened me. Like to a point where I remember a friend of mine was like, okay, fine, when I go out, they didn't tell me we're going to a cinema. And they're like, just plan out the whole thing, we'll go to a restaurant, blah, blah, blah. So like, okay, fine, I invited all our friends. And then in the morning, they're like, okay, we're going to a cinema. And I was like, oh, you think you got me? And then I was like, oh, well, I have a meeting, but yeah, sure, I'll meet you guys at the cinema. And then I think I texted them like 5 minutes earlier. It's like, oh, guys, I have a meeting. It like got postponed to like,
what is wrong with
don't
you,
even
bro?
know why I have no real reason as to why I don't watch movies or go to a cinema. I just don't know. I'm just so sorry, guys. It's just not my thing. Like, if you tell me to like go to a park or picnic, like anything, I'll literally be like, okay, I'm coming. A cinema, I'll run away. I don't know why.
Why are you running?
I don't know why. Like, I saw in my past, in my past life, something happened in a cinema.
Probably.
Yeah, probably. So the next question is, what is your comfort album?
Comfort album.
Yeah.
I'm a gospel type of guy, so the album is called Taya by Taya. Okay, it's not her surname now because that's her maiden surname, but I don't know how to pronounce her current surname.
I'm
but
sure
it's
the
by,
gailies are listening. If you, okay.
It's by Taya.
Yeah. Okay. What game makes you most competitive?
Yo, 30 seconds.
Really?
Yes, it's a war. It's not a game, it's a war.
You know what? This is going to make me sound so boring, but I panic during games. Like, I'm so bad at games.
What?
I swear you could tell me, we could be in a setup where I know Rihanna's name is Rihanna and her surname is Fenty, but then like in 30 seconds you're like, Rihanna, what's her name? I'm like, Rihanna? Like, I literally forget. I literally forget. You know what? I'm such a calm person. Like, I really like calm, like, surroundings and environment. So, like, during 30 seconds, I'm not your person.
Sure.
I say I'm not your person. Like, my friends used to play 30 seconds a lot. And like, come, you know, you'll learn. I'm like, if you want to lose, put me there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm so bad at games, but I'm good at other things. I mean, look at this. I'm good at this.
There's
so
still time to work on it.
yeah, well, we'll see. The last question. What does your name mean, and why was it given to you?
I have no idea why it was given to me, but however, it's, you know, how do I explain this? It's like bringing together Kopano.
Yeah.
So yeah, probably I was bringing together my family at that time. I have no idea, but the one name that I know what it means and why, you know, Khosi. That's my middle name, and it's because I was the only boy amongst 4 girls of my dad. Yeah, so I was his first son, and you know, like basically, you know.
Yeah. Ish. A feminist must not be liking this, but yeah. Why can
It's okay, guys.
It's okay. Just calm down. You know, it's nothing hectic. With me, you know what? My family just selected randomly. They're like, okay. Like, the thing is, my mom. Actually, I feel like I found a reason as to why they named me Amantle, but then they don't know the reason. But I know the reason, just because of the way the situations were at that time. So my grandmother was so excited that I was going to be born. Like, she was like, immediately when I'm born, she's going to come live with my mom, and like, you know, going to be this happy family.
Yeah.
And then just a few months before I was born, she passed away. And my mom was like the favorite child, so like they were super close, and it affected my mom so much, you know. And at that time, I think people really didn't know how to console her, comfort her. It was really a bad time in her life. So I guess when I came in, my uncle was like, we should name her Amantle, you know, because I don't know what they said, but like, yeah. And I think just because of the way I took that in, I kind of like discovered my purpose through that story, because like, I felt like my grandmother was running away from something when she said immediately when she's going to be born, I'm going to use her as an excuse and then come stay with you guys. So like, ever since I took that, and I was like, maybe my job, or like my whole purpose on this planet, is to somehow free people from like oppression or something. And I started to take that in when I was growing up, because I was into activism. Like, I would get so offended when I get in a shop and maybe some person who classifies themselves as rich would kind of like give the cashiers or like, you know, waiters some sort of attitude. Like, it would really just, I would literally leave the shop, you know. And it wasn't something that my other family members do, but it was something that was just like implanted in me. So when I grew up, I was like, maybe that's just my whole purpose, to just, you know, free people, because I was going to free my grandmother and then I didn't. So maybe that's why I was born into this planet.
Come on. Hey,
That's dope.
deep.
I should write a book. I should write a book.
You should actually.
I'm actually like a mini author. We'll talk about that. Okay, so my first encounter with you, right? This was like, I think, through a video where you were singing a TikTok video. Is it by, what's the song? It's like the short clip.
That was one of my TikTok videos that never seemed to blow
and
up.
I think I saw it on one of my former classmates' status, and I was like, "Who's this?" She's like, "Right." I was like, "Yeah, right, but who's this?" And then she's like, "It's Kopano Kgabi." I was like, "Who's Kopano Kgabi?" And Bridget knows so many people. Like, Bridget knows the whole world.
Obviously.
So I was like, "Okay, let me just go to her because she knows the whole world." And then I went. I was like, "Bruh, I literally saw this guy." And I think she also put up your video on her status, like, bruh, I feel like the world is just somehow exposing this person to me, like, how? And then she was like, oh, this is Kopano. And actually, at first, I thought you were about like maybe 21 or 22. I thought you were maybe, and at first, I actually thought you were overseas. But then because so many people knew
I'm
you,
destined to be there.
you should receive it, please. Yeah. At first, I thought you were overseas, and then she was like, "Oh no, he's actually in high school." I was like, "What? He's a singer?" And then like I stalked you for like a long time. I'm sorry, I stalked you for like a long time. I was like, "Oh my God, you're so incredible."
Oh my gosh.
Like, you're so incredible. So I want us to talk about you first, because we have a hectic conversation to start up. Your topic is Gen Z confronting the age of anxiety.
Yeah.
So at first, I think it's better we unpack you as an individual, like who you are, how you became this person, yeah, all of that. So please take space.
So basically, oh my gosh, wow, this is actually such a, who are you? So basically, how Kopano Kgabi came about, you know, like I have always wanted to be an artist, you know, like
Yeah.
out there doing my own music, because I started off singing when I was about 2.5 in '06. Yeah, and you know, like it's been a thing since then. And then I got to primary, I got to learn a couple of instruments. My first instrument was the guitar. But let me tell you, I hated the guitar when I learned it, because it was
But
like,
wait, that's your main instrument
that's
now,
my
right?
main instrument
that's
now.
That's crazy, yeah.
But I hated the guitar so much because I was learning it in class. And you know, there wasn't so much fun about it. So I was like,
Yeah.
I was passing for the sake of passing music.
Yeah.
So, and then that was in 2014, right? I was 10. Yeah, I was 10 then. And then one time I got bored in 2015, picked up my guitar, started looking through songs on YouTube and trying to play them. And I was like, hey, I can sing, I can play guitar. Why not make money out of this? So in 2016, that's when I actually started doing music. And it was the first time I gigged. And yeah, that's where my first,
How old were you?
I was 2016, I was 12.
That was crazy.
I was 12. I even still remember the exact date. I think it was the 30th of April 2016.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was a anniversary celebration. Yeah. And you know, ever since then I've been trying to go on YouTube. Like I've been on YouTube since 2015. Like please don't go look up the video. It's
Funny enough, I did that like
oh my
like
god.
2 days ago. I did it. I was binge watching like your old
My old
yeah, I was
music.
like, oh my god, this is so cute. I think what was really incredible about like your whole journey is that you were able to figure out your purpose at such a young age. You're like,
Yeah.
okay, this is what, and I think that's something that's so rare because I like realized that I wanted to do something of this like last year, and there were so many signs before, but I couldn't pick up that okay, maybe I could be destined to do something like this. But you were 12 and you're like, okay, I think I could sing and I think I could make money out of it, so let me just start. And that's so incredible.
Yeah, and you know, ever since then, I've been on the low. I wasn't where I wanted to be
Yeah.
at the time, but you know, like I was doing what needed to be done at the time. It was like it was seasoned for that time. You understand? So and then fast forward to 2021. You know, that was my first time with an iPhone that I bought with my own money.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I got on TikTok. I had long had a TikTok account though, like since it was still Musically. So I went back on TikTok, and you know, because I saw videos of people doing duets
Yeah.
on Instagram and YouTube, I was like, I want to do this just for fun. And you know, I'll do those things. I do duets. My very first video is a duet. I don't know what song I was doing. It's probably, oh my gosh, Best Part. Probably.
By
probably.
her.
Yeah.
I love that song.
It's probably, hey, I can't scroll down.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
remember. It's too many videos I've posted. But yeah, ever since then, I've just been posting for fun. One time, was I dancing? Yeah, I did like a dancing video. I blew up. I was like,
How come?
oh, this
That happened.
wasn't
Yeah,
supposed to happen. You know, I just kept doing things. You know, I did stitches and reactions, funny reactions, and you know, that's basically what I was like. This could be my thing, and you know, that's how I came about to be. And then, basically.
I want you to like just go back to when you're like, obviously you were young, like you're way too young to be part of like a platform such as the music industry. But I want you to like talk to me about how your family kind of like pushed you into that and just supported your dream, especially at a young age. I mean, like you're 12 years old. I mean, if my 12-year-old brother told me that he wants to sing, I'm gonna be like, you want to sing at such a young age? You want to sing, you know, that's like the obvious narrative that you're too young. So I want you to tell me how you approach your parents, how it just went to you being a baby who was playing with instruments to you just getting into that space where you're like, okay, I'm a performer.
They just saw me doing it. Like I didn't even have to tell them like this is my thing. But like I feel like the few people that actually played a very big role was my uncle in South Africa. He really encouraged me to actually go for it. Like he bought me one of my first instruments, the violin, and he's always been about it. Like even when I told him about my career path that I'm going into, he was like, keep music in it, you know. So basically, yeah, my cousins as well, I basically grew up with a cousin who's a producer and a rapper, and also one of my cousins is a rapper. So being around them, because I lived with them at one point, being around them influenced me indirectly to you know, like, okay, push, Leroy is doing the things, and I'm like, I wanna be like Leroy, I wanna have my face on a CD, I wanna, you know, those type of things. So, yeah.
No, that's so crazy. That's so crazy. At such a young age, I'm like, at 12, you see, if I tell you what I was doing at 12, you guys wouldn't want to watch this. But yeah, this is not about me. This is about you. So you're young, you're 12 years old, and you're getting into the space where you're becoming, you know, a musician. You have to go through a journey of self-discovery first, identity crisis, all of that. How did you, because obviously before being a musician, you need to figure out who you are also as an individual, but it's like you're 12 years old and that's when the journey of self-discovery has to start. How did you kind of find a balance to just figuring out who you are? Because to an audience, you're Kopano Kgabi the musician, and then to your family members, there's Kopano Kgabi the baby, and then there's you as an individual, how you like, you know, classify yourself. So like, tell me how that all went.
It was actually a really crazy ride. Because, you know, like, I feel like my journey of self-discovery began when my grandmother passed away. Because my grandmother is basically like my mother. Like, she was pretty much there every day. I didn't see my mother like that every day, but I was living with her. It was my everyday life. Like, she was my mom. Like, I called her mama. And when she passed away, like, I was like, everything's meaningless. And that was around, I grew up in a really Christian home. My grandmother was firm on her faith. My grandfather was firm on her faith. And, you know, that's when I began to lose hope in God. I became an atheist at one point in my life. I jumped from religion to religion at one point in my life. I feel like that was the part of self-discovery that quite, you know, a whole lot of my close friends who have been with me since then have seen how it was me going from, you know, how everything was meaningless. Everything doesn't make sense. Everything, I don't want to do this life thing, you know, to me actually discovering God on a different type of manner, because I feel like I grew up in a religious type of setting. Like, I didn't have a relationship with God. I didn't know God like that. So basically everything changed, you know, like from being atheist to moving to another religion to being atheist again. I got saved in 2018, and that was the most, I'm even getting emotional. That was one of the most epic moments of my life. I was at a camp called Youth Week, and it was the first time I actually encountered God there. And, you know, like, I was like, oh, and I gave my life then. Like, I was actually celebrating 5 years of being saved at Youth Week this year. So That's when I began to know who I really am, who God wants me to be. And like, I did not find my identity in things I did or people around me or pretty much any other thing, but who He says I am. So yeah.
I think that's like the most important part of self-discovery. I feel like our environment like greatly impact the type of person that we become, but it's also important that you choose the type of person that you want to become. So I feel like these conversations should be heard so that people understand that it's okay when you feel like, I don't even know why I'm a Christian. Like, it's not normal to just follow things just because people around you are following them. And I think it also gave you a chance to just establish this strong bond with God and also just figure out why you're doing whatever it is that you do. I think at the end you just felt like, okay, now everything makes sense and everything felt more peaceful and you just were intentional with everything that you were doing. In that moment where you just allowed people to see that I am feeling something over here, I think you just created a space where people were able to realize that, you know what, it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to just feel like you're overwhelmed, and it's okay to put a stop on everything and just figure out how you're feeling, even if it's in the middle of your EP launch. And it's okay to just express yourself at any given point. And I just want you to tell me how you feel like that has also allowed you to create a relationship with your fans or the people that have supported you. Do you think that plays a key role in just the increase in fan base that you've able to, attract?
That's actually a very good question. In that way, I actually...
Only best friends ask such questions. Comment, guys. Yeah.
So, with how I grew up, I wasn't much of an... like I'd cry in hidden spaces because I didn't want to be seen. And, like... I think one thing that music has taught me is that it's okay for the people to see it, because that's how you really are. You need to cry. It's okay to cry. It's absolutely fine. And like one of my pastors, he's a Kingdom City lead pastor in Zambia. His name is Pastor Sean King. He once preached a sermon on crying. And like, sometimes when you express your emotion in the form of crying out, it brings warmth, it brings a release, because you're not holding on to so many things. And sometimes what we do is we hold on to so much that we try to be okay, but in reality it's destroying us, it's hurting us. And not only is it hurting us now, you're bleeding on people that didn't cut you. So I found it fit that, be as emotional as you want to be as vulnerable as you want to be with other people, because one person out there, one young man out there actually needs to see that it's okay to cry, it's okay to be vulnerable, it's okay to show your emotion. So yeah, I feel like that's created how do I say this? I don't know how to describe it, but like it's created a bond with me and my supporters that, okay, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, life doesn't have to make sense. Sometimes it's just good to cry.
You said something so important when you said that when you hold back a lot of emotions in, you end up cutting yourself and you bleed onto other people. And it just reminded me of this time. Like, I actually wasn't as expressive as I am now, I guess. And I was expressive, but probably in the wrong way, because I had so many emotions in me that whenever you could literally break a glass and I would be the one to break. Like, I would literally, I would just say so much to you, or maybe you could do something so small to me and I'd make it such a huge deal. And at the end of the day, I'd wonder, why don't people understand me? Like, why don't people understand that I'm just going through a lot and they shouldn't do something that makes me upset? And at that time, it made sense, you know. But after that moment that I had, you know, where like I listened to that song and I just started crying, I was like, you know what? People are not responsible for the bad things that happen in your life.
Yeah.
You know, you cannot expect everyone to be like, oh, okay, you're going through this. I'm going to be so, so nice to you, because the world doesn't operate according to how you want it to.
Yeah.
So I think you're right when you say that it's so important to feel okay to express yourself, to feel okay to cry. It's so important to release your emotions, because right now I was able to have so many friends, and I don't think I would have made this a possibility if I didn't have like the supportive network of people that I have now.
Yeah.
But as much as I wanted them earlier on, I couldn't have them because of the energy I was giving out, because no one wants to be around a person that's always ready to jump up, you know. But now that I'm just able to sit down and talk to them whenever I'm just not okay. I'm like, you know what, I'm not okay, so we're not gonna have this conversation. And I remember like last week, we were preparing for this, and it was such a tough moment for everyone. We had to do this, and Tato texted me. I was like, you know what, I'm not going to be able to do this because I'm just not mentally okay. Like I'm just not ready to be in a space where there's so many people. I was like, okay, yeah, that's okay. Like you can just take as much time as you need. You don't even need to be here during the time when we shoot, as long as you're okay, because there's no point in being around you if you're holding back so much. There's no point in being around you, because you won't be the person that we want you to be, or the person that you want to be. We're going to be with someone who's depressed, and obviously for relationships to work, both of us need to be okay.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. You're very right when you say that it's so important to express yourself. Vulnerability should not be considered as weakness or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I think mental health is a topic that we really need to talk about, especially as young people, because as much as we can say, oh, we're creating awareness so that people can understand that it's a real thing, when we have conversations as friends or maybe with random strangers and you tell them that, you know what, I'm not going to be able to show up for your party because I'm not feeling well, it's more the why guy. Like, you know, if you tell the person that, oh, I'm just not mentally okay to be in that space, they won't take it as seriously. And I think that when people like you that have such a huge influence come up and say, you know what, we go through the same feelings that you go through. We also have moments where we feel like we are not able to operate, or we have these moments where we feel like we should give up. It creates that moment of relatability that, okay, fine, I also feel the same way that he felt. And it gives us the strength to say that if he can feel like this, I also have the right to feel like this. And if he can overcome it, I also can overcome it. So thank you so much for sharing this conversation with me, for just being here to talk about all of that and unpacking all of that. I'm 100% sure that everyone is so thankful, and everyone,
I'm happy to be here.
and everyone is just so happy to, you know, to have seen you talk about things in such a broader aspect. I wish we had like a second episode. If you want a second episode with Kopano Kgabi, you know what to do. Please comment down below. But yeah, to wrap up the show, I'm going to thank you again, because honestly speaking, guys, I'm fangirling so much. But because like cameras and lights and all of that, I need to contain my composure. So thank you so much for watching today's episode. We hope to bring you more content like this that is authentic, relatable, and also educational. Thank you.